Greetings, fellow Arkansmiths. I'm James Smith with Knights of the Smith Dinner Table, coming at you with another episode of my tips and tricks videos. Sorry it's been a while, but life has been a little crazy since the last time I made one of these. I've been to Gen Con, I've had the baby all the time, plus working full time, some other drama going on that I won't really go into, but needless to say, life has been a little hectic. But I still have had time to make some more maps, do more stuff, learn a few more tricks myself, which one of them I'm going to share with you if you remember from my video that if you've seen it on the Facebook group as well as the Discord of my window trick with the walls. But I'll get to that in a few minutes. First bit of news. As most of you know, I am now officially a team member of the Arkenforge Tabletop team. What that means is I got my name, a short description, and my picture on the About section of the website, and I have my own set of responsibilities that, while currently are kind of not really there yet, once more of the toolkit is available, I'll be stepping full bore into the stuff that they want me to do, which is great. It's a lot of the stuff that I had been asking to do as a volunteer, so I'll be actually stepping in and doing it in an official capacity. Further, every U.S. convention, I will be there with Nathan and Dante, except for the ones that they can't make it to that they still want an Arkenforge presence at. For those, I'll be going myself to help cover them and get some more exposure for this favorite piece of software that we all love to use for our tabletop games. Now, without further ado, I'm going to step in and show you the trick that I came up with, I should say. So, as everybody knows, right now the best way to do windows is to run your walls, place your window, and I know that when you first place it, it appears on top of the wall. I like to move it down below the wall to kind of hide the edges and make it blend in a little better. I'm going to get a light source here, so I'm going to go to animated, add some fire. I like using the animated just because, you know, nobody else does animated like the toolkit does. Going to give it some light. I'm going to set it to 10 squares. Let's do standard torch, which would be 8. Confirm. Okay, so as you can see with the current window in place, yep, that wall's there, got the nice opening in the wall so that way the window can be in place and let light through, let players see in. However, it just doesn't look right with the walls ending on either side of the window, and there's nothing under the window like what a real wall would be like. And this has actually been bothering me for a while, and I'm actually kind of mad at myself for not coming up with this solution sooner. It's actually really easy, and lots of folks have made a guess at how I did it, and while a few got really close, nobody guessed it exactly. So we're going to go back to walls, and you can see I already got a window here, so I don't have to go hunting for it. I'm going to go down here to wood, choose our wood wall. Now first, we're going to make a regular wall straight across. All fine and dandy, right? That's what we normally do when we're making solid walls. Then I'm going to move the window in on top of it. Now what I do, let's move this to the top so it'll sit on top. Because as you can see the center of this window is a little off, it won't sit correctly on the wall. So I move the center point to the actual center of the window, and then I move it in place, and as you can see right now it's got the shadows blocking halfway through the window. To fix that, we actually turn off the light blocking, turn off the shadows for that wall. And what that does, then I'll lock it in place, is it'll allow the light to shine through, as you can see. Then, right on top of that wall, I'm going to create a second wall there and a second wall there. Now, this is awesome. You can leave it as is. Most people won't notice it, but because I am OCD and I saw it after a few minutes, if you look right in here, where you got the one section of wall that doesn't have anything on top of it but the window, the shadow's fairly light, the drop shadow. When you add the other two sections of wall, it gets much darker, so it makes it very noticeable. So what I recommend doing is you click here, control click there, and then get rid of the drop shadows. And as you can see, now it's a nice, smooth, one drop shadow all the way across. There's no extra drop shadow stuff there. Now, that's all cool and everything, and you lock it in place. And as you can see, once I move the light, we have a window that appears to be sitting on top of the wall like it should be, having like a section of wall underneath it, but you can see through it. Now, if you're as picky as I am and you zoom in and you're looking, trying to fix all the little things, you're going to notice the grain on the wood or the section of walls don't exactly match up on either side. Now, most people aren't going to notice that, and while it does bother me, there's nothing I can do about it, so I have to let it go. But when you're zoomed out to where 1 square equals 1 inch, your players are never going to see it. So unless they ask you to zoom in real close, they're not going to see it. So it's not a big deal, honestly. Something else that I want to throw in here, I noticed there's been a lot of questions about secret doors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another wall here. Now we're going to use a very similar trick. Then I'm going to grab a door. Objects, James, objects. Come down to structures. I'm going to use some of the doors by bogey. Rotate it around. Increase the size so it completely blocks the light. Then I move it to the bottom. Like I've said in my previous videos, I like moving doors and windows to the bottom, just that way the edges are hidden, and I think it looks nicer. That's just a personal preference on my part. So once we got that in place, we may have to adjust it a little bit because it's important that the total width of the door, and this is probably not a good one to use for this, so let me get a better one. We'll go with this nice, nope. We'll go with this nice metal door here. Nope, because the handles are too big on that. I know which ones will fit. There we go. Handles are not too big. Just crank it around, slide it up, and then move it to the bottom, like I said. All right, so we got the door there in place. Then what you're going to do is you're going to hold Control, click on the square to adjust the wall there. Do the same over here. Now this is going to be important because in a minute what we're going to do, and I adjust the door to fix the shadow there. So we're going to go back to repeatables, come back to walls, and then before I do that, I'm actually going to select both of these and lock them in place. Now the extra wall that we're bringing up, we're not going to lock it in place because what we're going to do is just like very similar to the window, we're going to drop the wall. Whoops, I grabbed the wrong type of wall. That would be a pretty obvious secret door, wouldn't it? So I'm going to drop the wall. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to adjust it on either end. So that way, once again, these shadows are going to blend perfectly. And I know some people don't use the drop shadows. They don't like the drop shadows. I personally feel like it just gives it kind of a nice edge or beveling to the wall. There you go, Lee. I worked it in there, beveling. However, you're going to notice there is one problem here. So as you can see, because of the way that the current objects versus lighting works, it kind of gives it away here. So what we do is I'm going to select the door and hide it, and that goes away. So when they find the secret door, you can unhide it and then hide the wall. And if I switch to the player's view, I'll do it from this perspective so that way it's a little easier to see. So hide the door, or unhide, hide. So from the player's perspective, it looks just like that. Ignore the gray eye because that's not there on the player's view. Then when I'm ready, I can unhide the door. And make sure you unhide the door first because otherwise it's not going to block the line of sight. And then hide the wall, and then they see their secret door. So that covers secret doors. That's the way I prefer to do it. I just think it looks nicer. I know some people just make the wall disappear and don't put a door underneath it. Adding the door, I think, just adds a little bit of extra flavor. Oh, pardon me. And the way you do it is actually very similar to the way that you're doing the window. You're just not adding in a full-length extra wall. So let's move on to something that I touched on before right after it came out, but did not actually cover really well because I knew Dante was going to be bringing out a tutorial. Dante's tutorial is out, and now we're going to go in here to where we have all the nice little quests. Now, as I'm poking through, you're going to notice I don't have any of the links, the content links inside of here, and there's a good reason for it. It's because when Nathan added content linking to the mapping system, it completely negates the need to put it in here, other than maybe linking a map for when you first open a quest. So let's hop over here. I am going to change maps to the High Sentinel Lodge. Oh, pardon me. Been a long day. Zoom out. And there we go. It's all loaded. So zoom out. And as you can see on this map, I have a bunch of content links. Now the purple ones are actually quest information. So when you click on it, it pops this up. Now, there's been a lot of questions about this, all this stuff on the forums, on the Facebook group, and in the Discord about whether or not these links are visible, and they are not. The player's view, all that they're going to see is the stuff that the line of sight is allowing them to see, or that you have cleared with your brush tool to erase fog if you do it that way. The journal entry or the quest book, that doesn't appear on their screen. So only you can see these extra bits, including anything that is... let me jump to the master's map. That's weird. So anything that I have hidden that's marked, I can always see it on my screen, but anything that's hidden or is a link or the quest book, the players can't see. It does not show up on their screen. So, as I was saying, you got your different links here. And each one of them changes what happens. The green ones, these turn on the music, the sound preset that you've selected. And if I want to change, you'll notice there's now a fade out and then a fade back in as the new music starts. Now there's one other content link that I don't have put on this map yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop back into Cartographer, oops, open my map browser, and go hunting for one of the maps that I know has it, which would be Frost Firs. So you guys, if you've been watching the live stream, you guys have already seen this map. They faced off with a couple of tree creatures up here. And I'm sure you saw me when I was ready to move on to the next map. I just clicked here on the orange icon. Once again, players can't see it. I click on it. Whoops, gotta be in scenario to do that. You can't click on those to do anything other than delete them or place them in Cartographer. And then I click on that. It asks if I want to load. You say yes, and it automatically loads. This is huge from the standpoint of Nathan is slowly taking away any need to move to another program. So you don't have to Alt-Tab in and out. Especially with the upcoming integrations of things like OneNote, Combat Manager, D&D Beyond interface, all of that stuff we're going to be able to do right inside the scenario, which is going to minimize the amount of times we have to Alt-Tab in and out. The only thing that probably will continue to be that way, unless the guys at Sirenscape change their mind, is if you have the offline player for your Sirenscape, if you use Sirenscape. I believe I thoroughly covered how I feel about it in a previous episode, so I won't delve back into that. All that being said, this is huge, and this is just going to keep getting better. Now, there are lots of updates coming. Right now, Nathan is in the middle of a huge upgrade to the entire cartography system, and this is kind of required. He was going to do a small one, but he decided to do a complete overhaul of the entire system to really bring everything up to date, so that way he's not patching things here and there. Things that we're going to see, lots of stuff I'm excited about. Animated tiles, animated repeatables, those are going to be awesome. Those are going to bring something to the program that nobody else has. I know Dynamic Dungeons is close, but their maps are still, while it's a video, their maps are still very static, and you can't really interact with them. Like if I wanted to move a tree here, because, you know, a player knocked it down, I can move the tree, and the map changes dynamically. Other things that he's going to be bringing in, we got the tokens coming. That's going to be part of the big cartographer change. I'm sure it'll come after it. I'm not exactly sure what the ETA is on any of this, but there's lots of good stuff coming. And if you want to know, Nathan did post it today, August 27th, in the Discord. Just scroll back through the general channel, I think it was, and he posted it earlier. Or you can do a search for what Nathan says and find the latest thing. Oh, pardon me. So that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. For those of you who get the chance, check out the live stream. I am adding a new live stream starting next week, September 4th. It's going to be a group of people who, all but one of them I've never gamed with before. Bunch of new guys to Pathfinder. We're playing Pathfinder 2, and I am homebrewing it. I am building my own campaign world, and it is going to be a fantasy horror campaign. So, if you want to see something new, come and check it out, but I'm going to warn you, it's going to get dark, it's going to get messy. I am not going to pull any punches because these guys have promised me they can take whatever I throw at them. Other than that, I hope to see you guys there. Feel free to chat with us. We will be in the chat channels for both Twitter and YouTube, though I haven't decided if we're going to do it on YouTube. We may just switch back to only Twitch and then copy the recordings over. Also, if you get the chance, we would love to upgrade our recording equipment, and we can't do that on our own. We do have a Patreon. You can find the link on the Knights of the Smith Dinner Table Facebook page. If you haven't gone there, go there and like it. Also, like this video. I'm going to throw links out where I can. And other than that, hopefully it's not going to be as long before my next update for you guys. I look forward to talking to you all again, and I will see you online, on Discord, Facebook, and wherever else you want to talk to me. Catch you guys all later.